Well, it's been a while. Welcome to Care 11 Sports Plus. Got a new debate partner? Is that what we're doing?
What up, twin?
Yeah. So if you haven't seen, Nasir did the show. First off, Reggie Wilson, Nasir, digital maven of Care 11.
Nasir's in the white, just so everyone knows the difference. I'm wearing a white T-shirt today.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so let's real quick. When Nasir did the show with Julia, he said that the Wolves were going to go to the finals or win the finals.
Win the championship.
Yes,
win the
and
championship.
He said if it didn't
this
happen,
year.
then his name is Reggie Wilson. But now we're in the same room.
Yeah, it's tricky.
So,
Who's who?
Yeah, I think people might.
It's hard to tell. No,
Yeah.
I'm happy to be here. I'm thrilled to be here.
Yeah, same. It's been some time, I think like 3 weeks or so. I've been busy, doing stuff, TV, whatever.
Wolves been winning.
Yes. But
Surprise.
not so much game one. What's up with game one in the last two series? Like, what's going on here?
You know what I saw? I saw this stat just yesterday that the Wolves have lost in the playoffs every Tuesday that they've played.
Oh, man.
And they've won every other game, every other day of the week.
Huh.
So, unfortunately, game one was on a Tuesday. And to me, that's all it was. It was just a Tuesday effect on the Wolves. That's it.
That's it?
That's it.
That's all.
Nothing else to worry about.
Okay. How about 15 of 51 from three-point land? That's just Tuesday?
That's the Tuesday effect. That's the Tuesday effect. And it won't happen again. We know who Naz Reid is. We know who Dante DiVincenzo is. We know who these guys are. They can hoop. They can hit the three. They did it all year long. They've been spotty in the playoffs at best, but I think we've seen, knock on wood, we've seen as bad as it could get from three-point range.
Yeah, you would like to think that it doesn't get any worse.
Yeah.
But maybe it could, maybe it couldn't. Here's my thing. So OKC, they play this 7-game series against Denver. You think maybe they're tired, but they're young. And I was talking to one of my guys, Travis Singleton, sneaker reporter.
Okay.
And he was saying, like,
Shout out sneaker reporter.
Shout out sneaker reporter Travis. So he was saying that they're so young, they don't know any better. And so, Shea mentioned it, but they came out, they started a little sluggish early, and then they turned it on. Here's the scary part about the Thunder. When they turn it on, they are downhill. And, they go on these runs, 17-0, 17-2, 20-0 run, and it just gets out of hand really fast. And we've seen the Wolves kind of just give in to some of these runs. What was tough about game one is you kind of spoiled a brilliant performance, especially early on, from Julius Randle. Came out 20 points in that first half. He finished with 28. That second half, that Wolves team didn't look like the Wolves team that we saw in the first half. And it was weird because you saw how the Eastern Conference Finals game one played out last night. Shout out Hallie with the
dynamic
choke. Yeah, that was amazing. That was theater. It was cinema. But
box office.
Exactly. But then you look, you're like, man, what's up with the Western Conference? Like, why didn't game one play out like that? And it had the makings of that, but it seemed like all the horses that the Thunder have, the Wolves just couldn't match the effort.
I think it's partly an effort thing. I think it's and I don't want to be one of those Wolves fans. First of all, I'm an unbiased third-party observer to these games.
Sure.
I'm not a fan of either team. But it's tough as someone who watches the Minnesota Timberwolves to watch that game and to not think that these fouls are really adding up in the third quarter. And it's no coincidence the third quarter is when they go on this big run. The third quarter is when we got guys who've already picked up 3 or 4 fouls. At this point, they're not fouling. They're not playing D. They're letting him get to the rack whenever he wants to. And that's kind of what fuels these runs. And on the other hand of that, you have Julius, who actually did not have a bad second half. Neither did Ant. But what's happening is these guys should each have had like 12 assists. And they're getting wide open looks to these shooters, and they're just missing everything repeatedly. Dante, I can't remember exact stats. It was like 3 of 9, 3 of 10 or something at the end of the game. And we can't have that, especially when we trade for Dante DiVincenzo for these moments in the playoffs. When we need somebody who's going to be consistent, they're going to double Ant, they're going to double Julius. We need Dante to hit the corner 3. And when he's not doing it, you kind of see the wheels start to fall off a little bit.
So these are young guys. They're a deep team, the Thunder are. 1 through 10, maybe 1 through 12 even. They can play these guys. And I remember listening to Bomani Jones before the series started, and he said, I'm just an old school NBA playoffs guy. And in my opinion, this is Bomani saying this, he's like, in my opinion, when you have 2 guys who can go and get their own shot when the game slows down, I like that team better than the other team. The Wolves have Anthony Edwards, Julius Randle, two guys who can get their own shot at any point. The Thunder, you're like, they're just like a sum of their guys. It's Shea and the rest of their guys. You know, one night it might be Chet. One night it might be J-Dub. Or on some, maybe even most nights, it's just all of them just kind of collectively like whooping up on you.
They're well coached. That's the coaching.
Exactly.
I mean, they're really well coached.
So here's the problem. When you have – and I tend to side with Bomani when that happens, when you got two guys who can go and get their own shot. But then I feel like the Thunder are kind of like that anomaly. And really, you think about it, you know, even DB was saying it. And I know you don't want to go here, but Shea, his ability to get a whistle and get to the line, that's crucial. And it can slow a game down, especially when you're trying to play, you know, pace like the Wolves try to play. It slows the game down, and it stops the Wolves kind of in their tracks of, like, what they want to do and as far as gaining momentum. And now you got 3-4 players, 3-4 fouls apiece. And now the game is just not being played how you want to play it. We saw earlier in the year in February, Finchie was like, look, you know, this team fouls a ton, and you can't touch Shea. Like, that was going viral this week before the series started. Where are you on Shea and these foul calls? Shea Gilgeous-Alexander just crowned MVP this week of the league, okay? Kind of ran away with it.
Voter fatigue. Should have been Jokic. Can't believe I'm saying that. But,
Ooh-wee.
but let me just say this. Where I stand with Shea is it's really hard for me to appreciate the man's game because he has game. There's no question. I mean, his midi is nice. He can get to his spots without even taking a breath. It seems like that's how easy he can get.
Pushes off a lot,
and he's not even breathing when he does it.
Yeah.
To me, it definitely takes away from the game. It takes away from Shea's greatness. It takes away from the NBA playoffs, and it takes away from the NBA product. To have this man going to the line 7 times in the first quarter. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the first quarter where the Wolves are dominating, by the way.
Yeah.
But then you give Jaden McDaniels two fouls right off the bat. You have Jalen Clark come in. He picks up 2 fouls right away. Whoever is guarding this guy, I mean, I don't know. It'd be one thing if the fouls only applied to the individual player. Like, it was just Jaden McDaniels, you're done. But, I mean, the way fouls work in the NBA is it's team fouls. You can only have so many team fouls before he's going to be at the line no matter what, even if he's not shooting. So I don't know how you deal with that. I don't know what the solution is, what the workaround is. But the Wolves did a good job in that second quarter of not fouling him.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they can recreate that somehow or if Shea's just going to drive more into him in the paint. But if they can somehow recreate what they did in the second quarter, I like the Wolves' chances in this next game and in the series.
It's going to be tough because the Thunder just, man, like I said, they're downhill so much. And they do so many things well. They can beat you in so many different ways. That's the tough part about it. So we're going to talk a little bit more about this Game 2 matchup and what the Wolves – Nasir's going to give me the keys to victory. You know, that's what we're going to do.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Carol 11 Sports Plus. One more guy, Nasir, twin and me.
What's good, twin?
All right, let's break down this second game. Here are some key stats that I just kind of want to keep in mind here. From Game 1, assists. The Thunder led 27-18 in assists, right? Points conceded off turnovers. Because the turnovers really weren't that, like, the disparity wasn't that huge. 19 for the Wolves, 15 for the Thunder. And we saw some careless basketball from the Thunder at times, but it didn't hurt them as much. This is what hurt. 31 points conceded off turnovers. Also, 12-0 in fast break points. These are things that the Wolves usually do well. But the Thunder is playing, they're playing the Wolves game better than the Wolves in Game 1. What are you looking at for Game 2?
I think part of Game 2 has to be getting Rudy Gobert the ball where he can catch it. There's one play that sticks out to me when you talk about 12 fast break points for the Thunder, none for the Wolves. And that was easy. There's easy in the third quarter. We have the sequence where Dante has the ball. We're running down the other court. He tries this kind of behind the back bounce pass to Rudy. We know Rudy struggles with catching the ball, even if he's looking dead at you. And Rudy tries to go up for a little soft touch, like a little finger roll, gets deflected, bounces around, we lose the possession. To me, it's cleaning up things like that. We can't. I mean, I get the cool points. I get Dante likes to play that kind of game. We need to maximize Rudy Gobert in this series. And let's be fair. I mean, he did a good job. He did a great job, actually, defensively. He kept Chet and he kept Hartenstein completely in check, right? Chet had one of the worst games I've seen Chet Holmgren have this whole year. Yeah. He couldn't get anything on Rudy, and neither could Hartenstein.
Yeah.
Rudy can be that guy defensively. They need to figure out how to maximize him offensively. We want them to keep their bigs on the court because they don't scare us, because Julius Randle is absolutely going to bully Chet Holmgren if he gets him in the paint. But they're not going to have Chet in the game if Rudy's not going to be in the game. You know what I mean? It's all about matchups. Yep. So to me, one thing I need them to do is I need them to clean this stuff up when getting Rudy the ball.
Yeah. So here's my thing. The Thunder had 32 points from their bench players. I'm looking at the stats. Naz Reid, 4 points. Minus 21 when he's on the court. Dante, 9 points. Minus 20 when he's on the court. Nickeil, 8 points. Minus 14 when he's on the court. We even saw Finchie pull out Jalen Clark because these guys were in foul trouble. And Jalen Clark got his first real meaningful minutes of the postseason early in that game we saw. I need the bench to play better. If they want to have a chance, they have to play better. We keep talking about how deep this Thunder team is, and it's true. They can employ, almost 5 new guys, and they can go in there and contribute. The 3 main guys that Finchie leans on are Naz, Dante, and Nickeil. We got to see something more from those guys, and we've kind of see the Wolves. We've seen the Wolves kind of get away with not having the best production from those guys and win the series in LA, win the series against Golden State. But I think it's going to take more than just the starting 5 in this one, because here's my thing. Anthony Edwards mentioned how they packed the paint. The Thunder packed the paint. Ant's biggest thing when that happens is the kick out. Guys open in the corner, guys open on the wing. They have to knock down those shots. They did not knock down those shots in game 1. And that, to me, was the difference between this being the kind of blowout performance that it was or it being close and kind of maybe looking like the Eastern Conference Finals game 1.
No, I agree. And I think part of that is, you have to shout out Anthony Edwards' development as a player. He's become more and more willing to actually kick it out. We saw even last year in the playoffs, there were times when you have to kick it out and he would just try to drive. He just put his head down and try to drive. This is the reason this bench collapse is happening at a bad time, is because this is the perfect time for them to actually be the heroes of the game.
Yes.
They're continuously in these situations because of Ant, because of Julius, where they're able to miss 5, 6, 7, 8 shots in a row.
Yes.
And that's kind of what's sinking the team at this point. And what we don't want, worst case scenario, is Ant sees that and he says, you know what, I'm just going to stop dishing it out. I'm just going to put my head down and go at it, because then he's going to pick up more fouls. He's going to get banged up. He's not going to get the calls he wants, and he's going to get kicked out of the game.
Yeah.
So the bench contributing affects this in so many more ways than just scoring, even more than the final score of this game. For the whole series and potentially for the rest of the playoffs, the bench needs to be better for this team.
It's so interesting to me, too, because even when Dante is not scoring, it does not affect his confidence. 3 of 12 from 3 in that last game. He kept shooting it. Yeah. Maybe put the ball on the floor if you see that the shot is not going in. Like, I appreciate the confidence, but him missing those shots, leading to those 12 fast break points, like, that's not helpful. Naz Reid may have been coming off the worst game of his career. 1 for 11, 0 of 7 from 3. That isn't even like recognizable from Naz Reid.
No, not at all. And this isn't the bench we know. And the crazy thing is, it's not like he hasn't been getting minutes these whole playoffs. These guys have been getting the minutes. And you think about, why did the Wolves go get Dante DiVincenzo? Obviously, Julius Randle has been the star. He's been fantastic. He's been everything that they wanted him to be. But the reason the Wolves didn't make that trade, a lot of the reporting was they wanted Dante DiVincenzo to be part of that. And part of that reason is specifically in the playoffs. We know he's going to get wide open looks.
Yes.
And you need to be able to hit those looks. So I don't mind. The 3 of 12 from Dante, I wouldn't mind at all if those were all corner threes or all good looks. I think most of them were good looks, but there are times Dante's forcing the shot. And I think those are times we just need him to not do that, man. We have people on the team to get you a wide open look. Just be a little bit more patient with your shot, and it's going to fall. That's my takeaway from game 1.
Patience, that's big. That's big because, they're rushing up shots, just you know, when you get down and when you see shots are not falling, you start getting a little tight. You start pressing a little bit. Those shots are not going to go in when you do that.
Right.
Unless you're Aaron Nesmith, apparently.
That's crazy.
That game was
Shout out Aaron Nesmith. Shout out the
Lord.
Indiana Pacers. My goodness.
Just single-handedly brought them back.
Yeah.
And then Hallie with the choke.
One of the hottest hands I've ever seen in my life in that fourth quarter.
Yeah, he turned into Steph Curry.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. All right, so going back to the Western Conference Finals, though, what's your prediction for Game 2?
Game 2, I got the Wolves winning. I think not by a lot. Nothing too crazy. I think they're going to win. They're going to end up winning, I think, 136 to 107.
Good Lord.
I think they're going to figure some things out. I mean, Ant does this in every game one, right? Yeah. He takes every game one, kind of chills out a little bit. I think he knows how they're going to defend him. I think the Wolves got all the open looks. I think this should have been a blowout in game one for the Wolves, to be honest. If we didn't have that second half collapse, I think this game is going to be a blowout for the Wolves. Dante with that many open looks, I hope they play him the same way. I hope Dante gets those same open looks, and I hope he takes another 13 shots. I hope he takes another 13 threes specifically. Okay. I hope Naz Reid takes another 8 threes. Okay. I hope Nikhil takes 5-6 threes.
Okay.
I want those guys getting minutes, and I want them shooting their shot. And I think if that happens again today, it's going to fall, and I think the Wolves are going to win big.
So what's your prediction for this series then?
Wolves in 6.
Wolves in 6?
Wolves in 6. Timberwolves in 6.
Okay. I think it'll go 7 still. I just think that the Wolves have fight, and they're more rested than they were last year. And they've been here before, so they kind of know what it takes. And I don't think that effort in Game 1 was anything that any of them liked. So I think they'll come out and they'll have a better performance. But as I always say on this show and others, I just hope everyone has a good time.
What's your prediction for the game, Reggie?
I just hope everybody has a good time.
What's your prediction for the game, too?
I think the Wolves will play better. How about that?
Oh, my goodness.
How about that?
No, dude.
Impartial journalism here.
Okay. All right.
That's all on the Wolves because Nasir's not about to bait me into going viral for saying something stupid. So we'll be back to talk about the Lynx. We'll talk about the other team who calls Target Center home. Welcome back to Sports Plus. Still here with my guy Nasir, twin. So I was at the Lynx home opener on Wednesday night. It was lit. They opened the upper seats.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, here's the thing.
About time.
When Caitlin Clark, Paige Beckers comes to town, that place fills up. Well, it fills up wherever those
Shout out Hopkins.
Go. Shout out Paige Beckers, Minnesota. Yeah. So Paige was in town. It was kind of cool. They came in town on Tuesday, and Paige is so funny. So she says that her staples that she has to get, Bruegger's Bagels, Jimmy John's, among the two. She said those are her Minnesota staples. Leanne Chen as well.
Humble.
Those are all brands that you can get outside of Minnesota. And she admitted that, but she said those are things that she could probably get in Dallas. I don't know. Like, I feel like maybe Leanne Chen is not in Dallas, but something comparable. But you could definitely get Jimmy John's and probably Bruegger's down where she is. But she's like, look, when I come home, those are the things that I get. So that was cool. Yeah. She got a chance to get some of her Minnesota staples. But also really cool, really, really cool.
Yeah.
Paige Beckers gets a chance to reconnect with KARE 11 photojournalist Gary Knox.
Goat.
Two legends, two goats reconnecting. And what was really cool was for the shoot-around for the Wings on Tuesday, we sent Gary to go over along with our guy JT, and they shot the presser. Gary clips a mic onto Paige. Paige notices him as soon as she walks in. And she's like, G-Prep, what up? Funny part about this, I don't know if you saw, there was like this viral video where they gave Paige Beckers a phone, and she looks down, and it's the picture.
The tweet.
She called him Greg.
Ooh.
Everybody was giving Gary a hard time because she was like, oh, she called you Greg. And I think it was one of those things where, you know, you probably just know a person. Like, she knew him as G-Prep. She's like, yeah, Greg.
Mhm.
Gary, Greg. It's like, yeah, Greg. Yeah, great guy. Yeah. But what was funny was she got a chance to connect with him. She called him the originator.
It's true.
He called it in 6th grade with the tweet
Mhm.
that she was going to be one of the next GOATs. And she's fulfilling that prophecy that Gary spoke.
Real quick, if I could just say this, Gary Knox, obviously incredible, phenomenal individual, unbelievable photographer.
Yes.
The question needs to be asked, did he miss his calling? Because this dude's scouting portfolio is insane.
Yeah.
It's just nuts.
Yeah, he probably could have been with the Timberwolves or
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
He or with
Again,
the
Gary,
Lynx.
I love you, man. I think you're amazing on the I-Team. I think your work is incredible. I look up to it.
National World Award winning
Inspirational,
journalist.
motivational.
And everybody knows him. I mean, I got hit up by Overtime. I saw Bleacher yesterday put out posts on Instagram about the interaction between Gary and Paige Beckers.
Yeah.
So Paige calls him the originator, and she's like, "Me and G Prep go way back."
Yeah,
you know,
it's true.
She's like, "We go way back. I played with his daughter. They actually did play Hopkins together." She's like, I used to play 1-on-1 against his son. His son was also in the building last night. Gary was in the building last night. And it was just a really cool moment. So now to the game. So sorry, Paige. But that Dallas team.
It's Big Fee's house.
Yeah, that Dallas team not going anywhere.
There's a reason they had the number 1 overall pick.
Yeah.
There's a reason they picked where they did.
Paige Beckers, 12 points, 10 assists, got a double-double, 3 of 11 from the field.
Yeah.
Here's the problem, and Gary would attest to this. I love Arike Ogunbowale. Shout out Kobe, Mamba mentality. That's what she goes by. But she's a player that she's like, look, I'm going to get mine. 8 for 20 last night. And I saw it with my own eyes, her look off Paige to jack up a shot of her own. That I don't know if they're going to coexist all season.
It takes time for a team to gel. Right? This is what, just game 2 or game 3 for them?
Game 3.
Game
0
3
for 3 so far.
It takes time.
Still needs that win.
I mean, if you look back last year to when Caitlin Clark first got with the Fever, there was this whole idea of like, oh, you know what I mean? Like, oh, it's not college. It's going to be a lot tougher. Your shot's not going to fall the same way. And it took some time. Like, obviously, Caitlin Clark is great. We know what she can do with the ball. But, I mean, it takes time. Look at her this year, where it seems like her teammates can't wait to have her back in any given situation, in any circumstance, in any kind of confrontation. I think it's going to take a little bit of time. I mean, you have to earn that from your team. I don't think you can necessarily earn that in the offseason. I think that has to be earned through games, through going through that hardship, through losing a bunch of games, through winning some games, all that kind of stuff. I think then you're going to see that kind of chemistry and that teamwork grow.
Okay, enough about Paige, though. I want to talk about Big Fee, not the little one.
MVP.
She's on an MVP campaign.
Yes.
34 in the first game, 23, 28 last night.
Yeah.
She is on one right now.
Yeah.
Trying to get that MVP. They're calling it their revenge tour. We all saw how that finals ended for them last year. They should probably be champions.
Yeah.
But they're not.
Yeah.
Liberty won that championship. Then the
Asterix.
commissioner came out with that outfit on with the New York skyline. It was just like,
what did that mean?
Fix in? What? But we won't go there. Lynx start 3-0. Lynx start 3-0. Fee, 28 points, plus 5 when she's on the court. 5 defensive rebounds, 8 rebounds total, 2 assists, 2 steals. Like, just an all-around great game from Fee. And we still don't have Kayla McBride back. We're still gelling.
Yeah.
You got new players coming. Carly Samuelson, Jessica Shepard is back after a couple seasons away. So this team has not even hit like their full stride yet. But behind Fee, they just seem to be a force to be reckoned with.
I mean, if I thought last year was the year, to be honest. It's a good thing I wasn't on this show last year. It's the same thing I said about the Wolves. But this year, it's true, man. It's hard to – because really, who was a matchup for her? Yeah. Who can slow her down? Who can stop her? We saw her doing her thing in the finals, right? Yeah. When people had all year to study and game plan for her, they still couldn't stop her.
Yeah.
And it's just – I mean, her game is just so developed and it's just so skillful where she can score from so many different spots. It seems like wherever she is, that's her spot.
Yeah.
And that's how she's playing to start this year off.
Yeah, my wife, Alexis, shout out Alexis.
Shout out.
She called her a swan after watching her play last night.
Poetic.
Yes, and I can see that because, she kind of, we kind of see it with Ant. When he goes to the lane, he's kind of like, don't touch me, like maneuvering.
Uh-huh.
And Fee's kind of the same way. She can get her shot. What's deadly about Fee, though, is that step back or that fadeaway jumper, like 6-7 feet within the, pretty much in the key, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
She's deadly.
She's in a lot of ways, she's the perfect modern day hooper.
Yes.
Because she can do it all, and then she has the size to defend.
Yes.
And the mentality to defend.
Yes.
So it's not a one-sided game. She's all over the court. She's offensively, she's giving her all, and then she turns around right on defense. And you pointed out, she's getting steals, she's going to get blocked, she's going to do the whole thing every game. And she doesn't wear down over the season. I feel like when we were watching her in the playoffs last year, she was getting better and better as the playoffs were going on. So it's a scary sight for the WNBA. Let me put it that way.
It is.
That she's already on one and the season has just begun.
It is. And I feel like she's starting to get more respect. Mm-hmm. Co-founded Unrivaled.
Huge success.
Yes. Huge success. And the investors out of control. Also, she's a Jordan athlete now. Like she's hooping in J's now. So those are two things where I feel like people are starting to put some respect on it, where as I don't think that they were before, but people, especially, in that finals run, people saw like, Fee she's one of one. And you think about some of the stars of the W, and the biggest stars, I would say right now, Caitlin, obviously.
Sure.
Asia,
of course.
Reigning MVP.
Yeah.
Fee.
She should be, yeah.
And if you want to go 1A, 1B, Asia, Fee, Asia, whatever you want to do. But like those are the gold standard right now in the W. And I feel like Fee is kind of really putting people on notice just by her play. It's like, okay, you want to respect me? Here's 30 points on y'all.
And it's efficient. And she's shooting at a very efficient clip every game, week in and week out. She's not just throwing up a bunch of shots. She's not going 8 for 30, 5 for 25. These are like 8 of 13 type games that she's putting up consistently. That's really, really hard to do.
Yeah. So Lynx back at home in action tomorrow. So looking forward to seeing what Fee does again, because it's an event. It's like happy we get to watch Fee play day. Yeah, that's a mouthful.
Happy we get to see Fee play day.
Yeah, that's a lot, right?
Yeah, no, it's a lot. We'll work on that one.
Okay, we'll work on it. We'll try to get it better next week, but big Fee, not the little one. Thanks for joining us today. Me and my twin, Nasir, on Care 11 Sports Plus. We'll see you next time.